What is up, people, and welcome back to another video. We all know how tedious Merlin trials and Hogwarts Legacy can be, so I've made this video with 4 tips that should make things easier for you, so let's get straight into it. The first tip is going to be regarding the Guide the Moth to Merlin trial. For this Merlin trial, you've got 3 pillars with diamond cutouts, and you also have 3 piles of moths, which are a bluish colour. And what you need to do is use Lumos beside the piles of moths to lead them back to each pillar. So you've got 3 piles of moths and 3 pillars. What you might not know is that once you gather 1 pile of moths using Lumos, as you can see here, you don't need to head straight back to a pillar. You can actually go to the other 2 piles of moths, collect them first, and then go to each pillar. This is especially useful in circumstances like this where the pillars are relatively close to each other and saves a lot of time going back and forth. Another thing you might not know is you don't need to activate and deactivate your Lumos as you get near each pillar. You can just run up beside it and the moths will fly in by themselves. So that is the first tip. The second tip is going to be regarding the sphere into the whole Merlin trial. So I'm activating this Merlin trial here, and I'm going to cast Revelio to see where the ball and the hole are. So the ball is over to our right behind this tree, and then I can just see the start of the hole past them bushes over there where my cursor is. Now this trial is relatively easy, but there's just one little weird thing that happens with a spell which might confuse you. So I'm going to show you the different things you can do to move this ball. So if I press my R2 basic attack 4 times, it moves the ball a bit. If I then switch out a spell and put in the pulso, that also moves the ball. Now normally when you use Accio on something and you hold the spell down for an extended period, it switches to Wingardium Leviosa, but with the sphere it does not. So what you want to do is get the actual Wingardium Leviosa into your spell set and use that, and as you can see it is 10 times easier. It lifts the ball completely off the ground, so you don't need to worry about any sort of obstacles you're getting it past or the pulso in it along the whole way, and if you knock it off a bridge or off whatever path it is you're on, you're just holding it up in the air, walking with it. It even has that little purple kind of trace so you can see exactly where it's going to land, and you just drop it straight into the hole. The third tip is for the jump across platforms Merlin trial. When I cast Revelio in front of me, you can see 5 different platforms, and you would need to jump from one platform to the other without ever touching the ground to complete the trial. This can be difficult depending on how many platforms there are and how they're spread out. Before, there used to be a glitch where if you activated the Merlin trial and then got on your broom, you could touch off the top of each platform and that would count. That glitch actually still does work, but there's just a slight change that might be confusing people. So if you activate the trial now and get too close to the platforms, or go onto one completely and then try and go onto your broom, the game is going to know that you're on your broom. So as a general rule, just go onto your broom within the circle of Merlin and then go over to each platform, and as you can see, the 13th of February 2024, it is still working fine. So like I said, just get onto your broom within the Merlin trial circle and then go over and you should have no issues. The fourth tip is going to be regarding the Fire Pyres Merlin trial. So as I'm activating this trial with some Mallow Sweet, I can see the first pyre to the left of me already. I'm going to use Revelio to find out where the other 2 are, because there's always 3. So I can see 1 further down this path and 1 over to the left behind some foliage. So I'm going to use Confringo to get rid of that foliage. And we're also going to be using Confringo to light these pyres, because it's the fire spell which has the most distance. The second thing we want to look out for is the length of each pyre, because all the pyres are not equal in their length, and the shorter the pyre, the faster the reset time. So that one behind the foliage is the shortest. This one here to the left is also very short, but looks to be a tiny bit taller, and this one by the trial starting point is by far the biggest. The next thing we're going to look out for then is this little outline you can see around the top of the pyre. that's going to tell us that we're in range to use our Confringo. So we're going to try find the ideal spot where we can use the Confringo, hitting as many pyres at the same time. So I'm going to walk backwards and forwards a little bit here to find the best spot. Now if you weren't able to hit all 3 pyres within the same area, I recommend using the Swift talent to cover a lot of ground in a short amount of time. But from here we can hit all 3, so we're going to go in order of tallest to smallest to ensure we get all 3 without them resetting. And that is my 4th tip. So if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please consider subscribing. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.